This is a dangerous planet. Death hangs in the air everywhere you turn. There's not even clean water to drink because the water is loaded with sulfur and swallowing it is as good as a death sentence. And on top of that, vicious creatures are lurking around every corner. One wrong move and you become their next meal. But this injured man is not your average person. He wedges his dislocated leg into a crack in the rock and sets it himself. His screams draw the attention of nearby alien jackals. Badly injured, he knows he can't fight them head on, so he pushes himself backward along the ground with his hands. At the last second, he plunges headfirst into a muddy pool. Riddick holds his breath and waits for the jackals to leave, but they just stand at the edge watching him. And the real danger is underneath the surface. The scent of his blood stirs something in the mud below. Mutant eels moving in the sludge. But fortunately, these creatures only eat dead flesh, so for now, he has to control his breathing and outlast them in a battle of patience. 60 full minutes pass. The jackals can't get to him and finally give up. They leave frustrated, and Riddick breaks the surface. Hard to believe that just one day ago, he was the commander of an interstellar fleet, but his own people were powerful and hungry for more. So they lured him to a savage planet with plans to eliminate him and take over his army. Caught completely off guard, he fell from a cliff.
You keep what you kill, Riddick!
Now, as he struggles to catch his breath, he hears a low growl behind him. An alien jackal has locked eyes on him and lunges. The two of them crash together in a violent struggle, but Riddick quickly figures out this creature is relentless. No matter what he does, he can't shake it. Seeing things turning bad, he pulls off the armor plate at his waist, ready to use it as a weapon. But right at that moment, something shifts in his thinking. He flings the disc-shaped plate away instead. The jackal freezes. Then after a moment, its instincts take over, and it chases after the disc. Watching that, Riddick immediately understands these alien jackals behave just like dogs back on Earth, and there's a real chance one of them could be tamed. But the temporary escape doesn't solve his leg problem, so he pulls off the plate from his other side, straps it around the broken leg as a makeshift brace, and drives steel pins directly into the bone to hold everything in place through sheer willpower. He builds himself a crude exoskeleton, just enough to get moving again. Then, using his exceptional eyesight, he spots a waterfall flowing through a canyon in the distance. There might be fresh water there. He pushes toward it immediately, and sure enough, deep inside a cave, he finds a clear spring. As he drinks, he notices something on the other side of the pool, what looks like a hidden passage. But before he can get a closer look, those same jackals track him down again, and this time they brought company. Riddick pulls back and hides, not knowing that something far worse is lurking nearby. Then several strange tails rise out of the mud, and a scorpion-like creature explodes from the surface, latching onto a jackal's hind leg. The venom is extreme. The prey is paralyzed almost instantly. The other jackals scatter and run. Even Riddick breaks into a cold sweat watching it. He looks up at the vultures circling overhead, then down at the massive bones at his feet, and immediately knows this place is anything but safe. He turns to leave and walks straight into an even larger scorpion creature, his exit completely blocked. In that moment, Riddick grabs a thick bone and jams it into the creature's jaws to hold them open. Then, the instant it pulls back, he releases and uses the force to launch himself away. The creature seems unable to stray far from the water source and appears to be weakened by sunlight. It retreats back into the mud in fury. After all of this, Riddick finally understands the truth about this planet. Everything here wants to eat him to survive. He needs to rebuild his strength as fast as possible. That evening, he finds an abandoned cave with traces of past human presence still visible inside. He knocks over a stone marker and tucks himself into the hollow beneath, hidden from the dangers of the night, safe enough to heal. And in his sleep, the past comes back to him. After becoming a king, he let go of his ambitions and trusted the wrong people. He willingly gave up his throne and was rewarded with betrayal. Time passes, Riddick's leg finally heals, and only now does it really hit him. He has lost everything on this planet. If he ever wants to go back and take his revenge, he has to become the apex predator here first. He realizes at last that it was his own mercy that made him weak. Now he decides to reclaim what he once was. From that point on, Riddick lives like a predator, hunting by day and staying hidden by night. On one of his trips out, he comes across a den with 3 young jackal pups inside, but he doesn't kill them. He takes one and brings it back to the cave. After that, Riddick starts catching eels from the pool to survive. He quickly realizes the eel skin is remarkably tough, strong enough to be made into weapons. The meat gets dried and stored as rations. As his food supply grows steadier, his condition improves steadily too. Then one day, climbing to higher ground to get a read on the terrain, he spots something unexpected on the other side of the valley, a zone that actually looks livable, freshwater vegetation and signs of life. The only problem, the path leading there is completely sealed off by the scorpion creatures in the mud, but staying here means slowly running out of food and dying. So Riddick decides to take the gamble. That night, he begins studying the creature's behavior patterns. He finds that they remain active after dark and have a strong attraction to bones. A plan starts forming in his mind. The next day, Riddick uses bones as bait and captures a juvenile scorpion creature. He grips it by the head and presses the sharp sharp venom fang against a grooved piece of bone, slowly working the venom out drop by drop. Once enough has collected in the groove, he transfers it all into a sealed skin pouch, then removes the fang and fixes it at the opening. A crude venom injector, complete. But the reason he built it is to develop a full immunity to the creature's poison, to figure out the right dose. He tests it on the jackal first, injecting a small amount and watching what happens. The jackal collapses unconscious almost immediately, but an hour later, it staggers back to its feet and actually seems more alert than before. This confirms that the venom works more like a sedative. Control the dose and it won't kill. So Riddick begins injecting himself. The first shot hits hard, his vision goes dark, his stomach turns violently, and his body goes limp like everything has been drained out of him. His immune system is fighting the toxin with everything it has, but if he can push through, his body will build a resistance. After months of repeated doses, the symptoms finally stop completely. The venom can no longer touch him. The moment has come. Riddick straps on the bone blade he crafted and prepares to face the creatures in the mud head on. The moment he drops into the murky water, the scorpion creatures stir below, their eyes fixed on Riddick from the tip of their tails. The two sides circle each other carefully. The creature's venom fangs grind together, producing a scraping sound that sets every nerve on edge.
Come on, show us some teeth.
The creature won't expose its head, so Riddick extends his leg as bait. That does it. The creature erupts from the mud in a fury, but the strike misses and it retreats back into the water. Riddick decides to go all in. He lets the creature bite into his thigh deliberately, and with a body that no longer reacts to the venom. He draws his bone blade and splits the creature in two. After dealing with it, he pulls the fang out of his leg and tosses it back into the mud, just as he's about to catch his breath. He hears the jackal barking nearby. The pup had followed his scent all the way here and was growling at the creatures in the mud. Then, without warning, a much larger scorpion creature bursts out from behind him. It lunges. Riddick barely rolls clear in time. This one is clearly the alpha, enormous and with power to match. A single collision sends Riddick flying, and it gets worse. The alpha's roar draws more scorpion creatures toward the jackal. Riddick charges in without hesitation, scoops up the jackal with his left arm, swings the bone blade with his right, and before the alpha can react, opens its belly with one clean strike. He tears through the mud and makes it to the passage on the other side. Looking back, he watches as the alpha creature gathers its own spilling insides and swallows them back down. Riddick has seen enough. He takes the jackal and leaves the valley behind. And just like that, a man and his dog begin their life in the wild.